Greetings, YouTube.
Hello?
Today I'm going to teach Chelsea here how to sharpen a knife. And
Yes.
you were just saying,
I've never sharpened a knife ever
all
before.
right.
Never.
So-
Not even a kitchen knife.
So after years of teaching people how to sharpen, I think I've boiled it down to, being able to teach somebody who's with zero experience, and hopefully we'll get some excellent results.
Yes, I hope
in
so.
only minutes. So we are going to keep it real simple. This is a 1,000 grit Japanese waterstone.
Wow.
And instead of trying to sharpen the entire knife,
Okay.
we're going to work on one section of this knife, and we're just going to get it sharp. Okay?
Okay.
And, first off, I don't consider this knife sharp, but it will shave some hair, so we're gonna remedy that.
Oh man.
It is not shaving, all right?
All right.
So we'll just for good measure, we'll do a little
We'll
more.
make it extra dull.
So sharpening is super simple. All we're gonna do is remove the steel and get that edge established. And all you have to do that is to grind the steel away. You're gonna grab the knife. I like to pinch top and bottom here.
Okay.
We're gonna keep the knife at about a 45-degree angle on the stone.
Okay.
And we're just gonna go out and back. The angle is gonna be set with your wrist here. So we'll get an angle set. The angle's not super critical at this point. We're just trying to get an edge established. We're gonna shoot for somewhere around 20 degrees.
Okay.
So when you go out and you come back, so you're gonna hold the knife on the stone here, kind of pinch top and bottom. You wanna kind of make sure the knife is secure, firm.
Okay.
And we're gonna slide it on the stone. I'll get the angle set, and you're just gonna go out and back. And you're gonna do that 20 times.
Okay.
And then we're gonna flip it over, go back the other way. And we'll work on one edge at a time until we get a burr raised.
Okay.
So take the knife.
Right. Okay.
All right. So we're just focus on this section of the blade.
Okay.
It's not going to be too critical.
And you kind of just put your finger there?
Get that angle just a little more on the
Okay.
knife.
Like that?
Yeah, and this hand is just kind of to feel the knife and be aware.
So up here?
Yep.
And then
just
down?
right back.
Okay. Is that a good angle here?
Yeah, you're doing excellent. Maybe bring it up just a skosh.
Up a little?
There you
Okay.
go. Get the stone wet.
Okay.
Well, when you're sharpen, you want to pay attention to the way it sounds and the way it feels. The pressure, you could do maybe just. Oops. Yeah.
Sorry.
You see it? Could you tell how the sound changed?
Yes.
You brought that angle up just
I did.
a little bit.
A little too much and
Yep.
it slid right off. Okay.
Go down a little bit.
Go
on
down
your
a little
angle.
more?
There you
Like
go.
that?
Yep.
Okay. I wasn't counting.
That's.
Sorry.
All right. Let's say that was 6.
Okay.
I'm sure it was more than that.
Okay.
But
We'll just do a little more.
try to keep that angled a little
Like
more.
that?
On the stone.
More?
No, hold on. Stop.
Oh, sorry.
You're fine. So this angle is
Mhm.
1, but
Oh,
40
that's the other angle.
Yes, that's the other
Sorry,
angle. No,
yes.
you're fine.
I forgot about that. Okay, so.
What that does is it allows the knife to be more stable.
Yeah, it feels more stable doing that than how
Right,
I
it's
was
easier
doing
to maintain the angle
Yes.
with that 45 degree. Because then as you push out and you
Yes.
pull back, if you're straight parallel with the stone, that's going to cause you to rock your angle.
Yes.
If you're at a 45 degree, it's more stable.
Oops.
You're fine.
Slid again.
Yep. Keep.
Keep. Keep going.
Keep going.
Keep going.
Watch that. 45.
Oh, watch that angle. Yep, I saw it slipping again.
Lower it down just to, there you go.
There we go.
So when you have the right angle, now this is going to be different when you're establishing an edge.
Yes.
But there will be maximum drag on the stone, and if you're too high or too low, it's either going to skate across the stone or it's going to try to dig in or take off the edge.
Got it.
You're using good pressure. You could use a little less pressure.
Oh, you don't have to use that much? Okay.
Yeah.
It's like ice skating.
So I try to have people hold a little bit lower when they're starting out, because if you rock up too high,
oh, like that?
It's like, oh no, you're.
Oh.
What I'm saying is on the angle this way. Keep going. Well, if you're too, it's like sharpening a pencil and you got it nice and sharp. If you break that tip off,
yeah,
then you got to remove a lot of material to restore it. So
risky.
When you hold your angle too high and you say you do one pass with it too high, you just snap the tip of that pencil off, and so then you got to redo all that work. All right, let's check it.
Okay.
All right, I feel. Okay, so let me grab a paper towel here. So, looks good. That's a really consistent edge. I don't quite feel a burr. Maybe just a slight burr has started to form. We're gonna change it up, and you're gonna pinch top and bottom of the knife, and then I like to rest the knife kind of on that pad of your hand there.
Okay.
And this knife's a little bit small, so, but we're gonna do the angle this way now.
Okay.
45 degrees in the opposite direction, and you're gonna bring it back and forth on this side of the blade.
Okay.
So.
Okay. So kind of hold it.
And when you do that, if you have your elbow out, you know, it should feel pretty natural. Little lower on the angle.
Okay, on this angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Oop.
Let me turn the stone around for you, because it's got a chip in it there.
Oh, little David.
All right.
Okay. It takes a little adjusting and going the other direction.
Yeah.
I'm sure this gets.
What? Let me just. You're fine. Kind of.
Like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Better angle. Oh yeah, that feels much better than how I was doing it. When I'm too horizontal.
Yeah, when you're it wants to rock with you. And you just always want to keep the stone kind of wet? Yeah.
To keep
so having the
friction.
stone wet it lubricates, but it also helps push the swarf and the metal out of the stone.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I really like about the water stones, the Japanese water stones, is they continue to cut well the entire time you're sharpening. With like oil stones or diamond stones, they can get plugged up and kind of quit cutting as well.
Yeah.
As you're sharpening. The water stone, it's a pretty yeah, that's all right.
Sorry about that.
It's pretty consistent cut the entire time.
Ooh.
So one thing important as you're starting out is to go kind of slow and be very deliberate about your passes. Because just like when I talk about like breaking the tip off of a pencil,
yes, it's
one
risky.
wrong pass can set you back quite a bit. Over time, you'll develop more speed, and it becomes more natural once you've sharpened, hundreds of knives.
Sure. You make it look so easy.
It is easy. You're doing
good.
It is
pretty easy.
I can tell you're still pushing just a little bit
Too hard? Okay.
The weight of the blade plus maybe a pound or two is really all it takes.
Okay. Let me try this.
But it's not. you're not pushing hard enough that I think it's really
Doesn't hurt
detrimental. You can.
It's just, it could be a little easier on you.
Right, it's gonna
There
be.
you go.
There's no need to work that hard.
Yeah, that feels better letting up.
Yeah.
I'm so tense.
Yeah.
It's like when I was learning to spin for the first time. Too much tension.
Yeah, it's hard, but you gotta consciously focus on relaxing. It's not
relax. Be relaxed at
Yes.
the stone.
All right, let's see that. You got a burr. You got a burr there.
Is that bad?
No, that's good.
Oh,
That's
that's
what we
good.
want.
Oh, we're going for the burr.
So, the way you can tell if you have a burr is the burr is going to form on the opposite side that you're sharpening on.
Okay.
And it's the little metal particles that have come off the edge and they're kind of sticking up.
Mm.
And so, it really helps if your hands are wet when you check for the burr, and you can just run down the knife and feel whether or not you have a burr.
Mm.
The other way to check is to place your fingertips on the blade and kind of drag them up and down like you would be slicing.
Mm-hmm.
And if you feel it gripping your fingertip, then you know that you have a burr and you don't want to actually slide your fingertips. We're just going to do some
Or
slicing.
you will have some damage there.
So I would call this maybe a baby burr. Like, it's not a well-pronounced burr. And over time, you'll learn to be able to discern the difference between the two. But go ahead and feel this. Get your fingers wet.
Oh, yeah.
Now, feel up here towards the tip. It feels more smooth. Like, try to
Yes.
run off the... run.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like glass
Yes.
versus feeling like sandpaper.
Right. Yes, I feel that grittiness.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do 20 alternating passes away and then come back, flip it over and come back towards you.
Okay.
Just like we did.
Okay.
So we're going to try to establish that burr and get it set, better.
Okay. So same angles.
And we're only moving away from the edge. So you're going to go out,
Okay.
pick it straight up,
Okay.
and flip it over. And then come back towards you.
And then like that again?
Yep.
Okay.
It's very important too that you pick the knife straight up and you don't like flick it off the stone. Lower, yeah.
Oh, lower.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Could you hear the difference in that?
Yes.
There you go.
Okay.
So when you're coming
Oh,
back
too
towards
high.
you, just watch that gap between
Okay.
the stone and the blade.
This takes a little
Now-
coordination.
Yeah. Now, when you set this knife down on the stone,
Uh-huh.
it is better for you to, kind of be too low than too high.
Okay.
Because all it does, if you go like that to the edge,
It'll
you've
damage
ruined
it.
it.
Oh, no.
So if you come down on the stone and hit it there at too steep of an angle,
You might be ruining
could
what
be,
you just
you could
did.
be ruining your edge.
Okay.
So just
Okay. Be aware of that.
be aware.
Be mindful.
Yeah.
Be mindful.
People don't realize how fragile the edge actually is, and it doesn't take a whole lot to damage it when you're dealing with a hard surface like a stone or, glass plate,
Yes.
glass cutting board. Now, I'm noticing if I put the knife on the stone here
Mm-hmm.
and I go down like this, you see where it's making contact?
Mm.
And then if I raise it up, it goes to the tip.
Yes.
When you're coming back, you're applying most of your pressure here on the corner of the stone.
Okay. Okay.
Let's try to get it about in the center of the stone.
Okay.
Our pressure,
Sure.
and that's all controlled by raising and lowering your hand
Yes.
on
yes.
the stone.
That was probably better.
Maintain that 45 coming back.
Oh yeah. I feel like the one coming toward me is the hardest
It is.
to do.
So when I'm actually sharpening, a lot of times I'll change my stance.
Ah,
So if you,
to try to get a little more comfortable with it.
for a second, pick the knife. Okay.
Oh.
So if you stand with your feet kind of shoulder width apart,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm going away, typically I'll have my left foot forward,
Mm-hmm.
and standing. You're having good posture and being solid
Yes.
helps you be stable on the stone.
Okay.
And then a lot of times, like when I'm doing that, coming back stroke, I'll actually put my right hip
Shift
forward
a little bit.
and put that elbow out and come back
Okay.
that away.
Okay. To give it a little more stability.
Yeah.
I'm probably going really slow.
No, you're fine. It's not a race.
Yes. It would be nice to know how to sharpen my own kitchen knives though, and this is a good thing to know how to do.
So that's a nice knife on your neck.
Yes.
Is that new for you?
It is new, and I'm loving it. Being able to just have something sharp to, honestly, the most that I use it for is just like cutting things open.
Yeah.
Or just, I mean, you don't realize how many times a day that you need to cut something. And it's nice to just have that handy and available.
And then if you're like what you were spinning earlier this week,
Yes.
or sewing,
Cutting my
just right
thread
there.
and my knot, my yarn. It's quite handy having it right there, and that it has a case and it just goes right back in its sheath. It's very, very nice. Oops.
All right, let me see that real quick.
Hopefully I'm sharpening it.
Wow. Feel that right there. You have an excellent burr right there. Here is kind of okay.
Okay.
There's kind of smooth. So the two places that most people miss is
Yes.
the heel and the tip of the knife.
Okay.
But right now we're just trying to get you to successfully get a burr, which
Yes.
you've done.
Good.
And so get your finger
Okay.
wet and feel right there. You feel how gritty
Yes,
that
right
is?
there.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So you've got that spot of the knife sharp.
Pretty sharp. Cool.
And all you got to do is make sure the entire length of the edge is the same. And you do that by focusing on different areas. You can do that by, moving where you're putting pressure,
Sure.
or the raising of the lowering of that hand.
Yes.
So, since you've got that burr established,
Okay.
now we're just going to come to this leather strop. Now, I don't typically strop knives, but you're going to do, let's do the spot that you have the burr well formed. So like here and here.
Okay.
You're just going to do 20 passes away and back, just like you're doing on the stone.
Okay.
Being careful not to, drag back on the blade, because you can cut the leather.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
Flip it over.
Oops. Sorry,
There you
this
go.
way.
There you
There we go.
And we're gonna maybe pull this back and do it like right there.
Oh, I see. Not
Look,
close
I
up
think
to the edge. Oh, it did already.
Yeah.
Gosh. All right. So kind of like that.
And kind of do more of like this section,
okay.
not so much the tip, but it's fine.
Okay.
There's 1, 2. We're actually gonna do about 7.
Okay.
3, 4, and don't
Oh,
flick
don't
it.
flick.
Yeah.
This is good.
What do you think?
Pretty easy. Not bad.
All right, let's check it out. You think You think it's gonna shave?
I hope so.
Let's shave.
Nice. Yeah.
There you go. You've successfully sharpened the blade.
Yay.
Now, this is not as sharp as it can be,
Sure.
but you know, this is the basics.
Yeah.
Getting the burr,
And practice.
and then this basically removes the burr.
Yes.
That's one stone. Like typically I start people out on the 1,000 and then we go to the 6,000 and then strop.
Oh, okay.
So to get a knife shaving sharp on just 1,000 grit stone is good.
Okay. Cool.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
So if you want to start out, you could get a stone similar to this for about 30, 40 bucks.
Okay.
And, you know, you could do what you just did here.
Yeah.
And honestly, an edge off 1,000 grit stone is great for, you know, meat cutting. It's great for a lot of different things. You don't need to get into the 30,000 grit stones and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of a point of diminishing returns. So
Okay.
thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for teaching me to sharpen a knife.
So
Awesome.
do you have any questions?
Not really. I think just it will be more practice, you know,
Yeah.
just getting comfortable with, and I think I'm just not comfortable with blades and holding them in those directions, you know,
So
because I'm normally like chopping like this, you know,
Yeah.
mostly. And so it's just getting more comfortable even handling the blade, you know, on those
Right.
surfaces.
So we started out with this knife here because
Yes.
it's small,
Yes.
it's thin,
Mm-hmm.
which is good, but it's also rigid. With a super thin knife, it's going to flex and bend, and
Yes.
it makes it more difficult to sharpen.
Mm.
With too small of a knife, it's difficult to know what angle you're at. And with a larger knife, actually some larger knives are almost easier to sharpen
Okay.
because if you think about it, if you've got a 2-3 inch blade and it moves 1/8 of an inch, you're not affecting that angle a whole lot.
Right.
You move a small little blade 1/8 of an inch, you're fluctuating that angle quite a bit.
Sure.
So I like to find a medium-sized knife that's, you know, fairly thin but yet rigid, and one that is sharp that's barely lost its edge.
Mm.
Because if you check a knife that has been used for years and never been sharpened,
It's gonna be difficult.
it's going to take me
Yeah.
20, 30 minutes on stones to get it sharp.
Sure.
I might be able to do it faster than that, but there's lots of times like it just takes a lot of work on it. It's like anything. If you haven't mowed your
Yes.
yard all summer, you're not going to get it done quickly.
Right.
So when you're starting out, you want to be set up for success.
Yes.
And that
Be
is
patient.
yes, taking a rather sharp knife that has just lost its cutting edge and going to the stones and practicing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's going to take practice.
And
but-
easier for you to know what you're looking for too. You know, you're not going to have to sit there for so long before you're finding, you
Right.
know, finding that burr and.
Well, and so that's the mistake that a lot of beginners make is they take and they start with a knife that hasn't been sharpened in forever. And then they go and they start sharpening it and they think that they're doing something wrong because it's not getting sharp. So they start changing things. They go to finer stones, and you have to make sure that you've established your foundation, the edge, the burr on the coarse grit. And that's the big thing, is making sure that edge is established, knowing how to tell that you have that edge established, you know, doing the check for the burr.
Yes.
All that is going to help set you up for success. So,
Perfect.
but I mean, you've already got this.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Patrick.
So, anyways, you guys got any questions, feel free to send them to me, Patrick, at mtknives.net. Please like, comment, subscribe. And if you guys have anything you'd like to see in a video, just let me know in the comments below. Have a great day.
Bye.